Ladies and gentlemen, today I present to you the TOXIC Fandoms tier list. I will show it to you in a minute, but first I've got two disclaimers first. The first one is that this is just my subjective opinion, so that means it is not right or wrong, it's just what I think of the fandoms through my experience. And second off, relating to experience, I'm only going to talk about fandoms that I generally have enough experience of to make my own opinion of. So before you go like, you like Lord of the Rings, where's Lord of the Rings? It's because I have not got that much experience with the fandom. Simple as. As we go through this tier list, we are going to be going from the bottom to the top. So we're going to start off with the fandoms I consider barely toxic. And there's only one in this tier, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles. I generally don't find the fandom that bad, really. It's just, they're quite just neutral to each other. Like, I feel like the only real discussion of argument that you can have in this fandom is which Xenoblade is better. It's the first game. The first game is the objective best Xenoblade game. Nah, I'm just kidding. You're your own best judge. Now it's time for the mildly toxic tier, starting off with Pokemon. I find this fandom quite similar to Xenoblade, but to a lesser extent in the chillness. Like, they are also pretty chill, but I feel like they do go a bit crazy sometimes. And I feel like the same can also apply to the Zelda fandom, although I do have one very unpopular opinion involving Ocarina of Time. I did not care for the Forest Temple. Now we begin to dip our toes properly into the toxicity here with Miraculous Ladybug. Yeah, I find this fandom okay, but when the annoying Adrianette shippers come along, it just gets really annoying. Like, I don't care about fictional romance between two really shallow and bland characters. Now, June was something that I recently got into almost exactly a year ago. And yeah, these fans can be a bit over the top and just a bit annoying. Like, I know, man, but when you keep saying, Lisa now, Gaib! It gets annoying after the 500th time. And guess what this fandom likes to do? And now we are moving on to the actual fandoms I would begin to consider toxic. Starting off with Power Scalers. I know I just used an image of Dragon Ball Z here, but this is basically their genesis. These are the kind of people that will like go into a discussion about like a bunch of really tough people beating the crap out of each other in something fictional, and they'll always bring up the iconic phrase, say it with me, but can he beat Goku? These guys literally infiltrate every part of the fandom just to say this annoying sentiment. They're just annoying, really. Now, to understand why I've put Doctor Who here, you're going to have to wait until the final two entries on this tier list, since I described the Doctor Who fandom just a smaller scale version of the top two entries on this horrible tier list. Now, this fandom is just funny to me. It's just a bunch of grown people just talking about a slightly better version of Peppa Pig and treating it like it's an imaginary and inventive masterpiece. When, yeah, I think it's quite good because it leaves something for the adults as well, but I don't really think it's like the best thing to ever exist. And these guys treat it and compare it to like the flipping Godfather and Citizen Kane like it's the best thing to ever exist, and it's kind of funny, to be honest. Here we go. We are now beginning to move into the Chernobyl zone with this next fandom. I've been part of this fandom for about 7 years now, and if I can describe it in like 2 words, really, it'll just be, actually 3 words, it'll just be a massive circle jerking zone. It's just a bunch of people screwing each other up. Some people going like, you're unemployed, and then other people going like, well, you need to touch grass, and you barely play the game, you suck, you lol. And then there's people promoting their free V-Bucks scams, and then there's YouTubers who just actively shill for the game, I swear to God. And it's just really, really weird. Fortnite is just a bunch of weird people doing weird things. Like, there was like this one instance, I made a video on it a while ago where like there was this massive Nikke 30 drama just because the YouTuber misunderstood the donation and it went out of control, and the guy Arch ended up milking the drama and making it worse than it needed to be. It is an actual mess, to Fortnite fandom. But as much shit talking that I gave to Fortnite, it cannot compare in toxicity to these three fandoms. I used to think positively of the Minecraft community, but that all changed in 2020 when Dream fans came to existence. They take Dream, a pretty okay YouTuber, and take him way too far. Like, they are downright insane. I don't really know how to describe them, and you literally cannot have a chat about Minecraft without one of these insane guys absolutely decimating you. They're just pure insanity. I just cannot stand Minecraft discussion nowadays, as it's basically making a god complex out of a bunch of random YouTubers that got popular. Okay, so you know how earlier I described Doctor Who like a smaller version of the top 2 worst fandoms on this list? Well, Star Wars and Marvel fans are actually like the most insane people I've ever seen in my life. There are 2 sides to this fandom. You have the people that praise everything, give it like a 10 quadrillion bajillion out of 10. Then you have the people that will hate everything that it's done and give it like a 10 bajillion negative wazillion out of 10. These guys are insane. They are literally man children. Both sides, by the way. I'm not picking either side of this bullcrap. And they just whine and whine and whine, and nothing can get done. It is the least productive, fandom I've ever seen. Long gone are the days of, good YouTubers like Hello Greedon and Eckhart Sladder discussing law and stuff. Here's the days of bitching just because, oh look, there's fire in space. No, what are we gonna do? No! And also shilling for stuff, giving something like a 10 billion out of 10 just because it's Star Wars. And I know that I've barely talked about Marvel here, but that's because it's basically the same thing. They're sort of the same thing, just reskinned with different context. I refuse to be part of either of these fandoms, and they generally embarrass me. End of. And that concludes my tier list. So, those are my thoughts. What do you think of it? I'd actually like to know what changes you would like to make to the tier list in the comments below. And if you're part of any of these fandoms, which you probably are, then even if I put your favourite fandom as Star Wars or something as the worst thing ever, I don't mean it as an attack on you. It's just my personal experience with the fandom. And yeah, and that's just it really. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time.